Regular viewers to this programme will remember when the extended ULEZ zone came into Greater London. We campaigned about it every day. We made the point that actually the only people that pay ULEZ are the poorer people in society, and it really actually hurts them. Anyway, scaffold business owner and reform activist Noel Wilcox has been fighting TfL, Transport for London, over this. And it's all about the signage not providing adequate information. And he won a court case on this a couple of years ago. Well, now it's perhaps going to go the whole way. This issue taken up strongly by Susan Hall, leader of the Conservative Party in the London Assembly. And this is what she had to say on the issue very recently.
This is a really simple question. You mentioned the ULEZ expansion numerous times during the mayoralty, I know. And I want you to tell me now, are you completely confident that all the signage in the expanded ULEZ zone is legally sound?
Well, we often have examples of non-TfL personnel putting up signs which is not sound, and so the signage that TfL puts up is sound. There have been some errors made by TfL in the past where some of the signage has been just outside the parameters of London, and so there's always checks being done on any signage to make sure it's within the parameters of what should be allowed. And I'm confident in the briefing I've received that at the moment the signage is sound. But it's kept under review because human error often happens in these sorts of cases rather than anything more pernicious than that. So if there have been errors made by human beings, we'll rectify that. OK, so the answer is yes, you think it is sound.
So Susan Hall joins me in the studio. I mean, this is an incredible David v Goliath case. But if it happened to be that this case goes through and he wins at this big stage, that would mean huge amounts of money having to be refunded back to car owners, lorry owners. And I mean, what would happen to TfL? I mean, they'd almost go bust.
Well, it's a very interesting case altogether, isn't it? I mean, the road traffic people, adjudicators, in October 2021, they said the LEZ signs were unlawful and they directed TfL to issue a refund for any fees paid. Well, TfL haven't issued any money back, but equally they've carried on charging people. Yep. And they seem now to be quite concerned about it. They've appointed a King's Counsel to deal with this court case. But it could be quite difficult, to put it mildly. So let's wait and see what happens. But Noel is a really lovely gentleman, very calm, very quiet, inoffensive and humble. And he's quite convinced that he's correct. And he said to me, road traffic signs are prescriptive in legislation and they're not open to interpretation. And he has been told that the signs are wrong.
So basically, he won this case a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, and TfL just decided to ignore the judgment of that court and continue.
They've not only ignored that, they've carried on because the signs haven't changed and they've carried on charging people.
And you know, do you want him to win this case?
He's a lovely man, so of course.
What a diplomatic answer.
Yeah, not like me at all, is it? No. He's a very nice person. They've thrown all sorts of things at him, but he has been steadfast and he said, no, this is wrong. They haven't even made an attempt to change any of the signs, and as far as we're aware, they've never challenged the decision.
Incredible.
So if the decision is right, it leads us all to think, is everybody being charged correctly?
We had a quick chat with the former Attorney General before the show, and just sort of in brief, it is very prescriptive legislation.
Very prescriptive, Nigel. I mean, good for him. Well done to him. He's doing a public service here. I think TfL are in trouble. Clearly they are. Yeah. This has gone where it has. But the laws are very strict on this. Yeah. If the signs are wrong, even by a few millimetres, they're in trouble.
Could be a win for the little man, couldn't it?
It could be, but I don't like all these political things being decided in court.
No, I know.
You know what I mean? I
know.
This endless... It shouldn't be decided... This stuff... ULEZ is a political issue. It should be politically discussed. Whether it's good or bad is not decided whether the signage is 4 millimetres off. That's
I think
not
this
the
is a good
issue.
one for the lawyers. It really
Well,
is.
spoken like a true lawyer.
Yeah, that's why I
The
don't
thing
like
is,
it.
it's only political because it is so wrong. The ULEZ expansion, I'm
know
not
it was
talking
wrong.
about the original ULEZ, that was required and wanted by people. But this has hit the poorest the most.
Yeah.
Had I been lucky enough to be mayor, it would have been stopped straight away.
Yeah, but that's why it's political. That's what I'm saying. This should
It
be...
is political.
It's
Yeah.
political.
It is political.
And the constant hyping off of political decisions... You know, the issue on transgender, that should be decided in Parliament.
I think this
not
one is a
in the
bit more
courts.
legal. I agree with Morris generally about the court shouldn't get involved in politics, but here the politicians lost the argument on ULEZ, unfortunately, and therefore it's now a legal argument about whether the signs were compliant and whether the rules were followed.
A tax on the poor, that's what it is. And just on calm,
Yeah.
you know, all over the world, you know, New York, whatever it is, a mayor is limited to 2 terms, but there's no limit for the mayor of London, is there?
Yes. No, there isn't. I don't think he'll stand again.
You don't?
No, I don't. I think they thought he might lose last time. He is so universally disliked. Unfortunately, the Conservatives were not very popular at that time, and it was a difficult battle. But I don't think he'll stand again.
OK, well...